Welcome to Sass of Sabrina. In this week's episode, I'm going to be mudding this corner. I'm going to be finishing this whole area. I'll be mudding the screws. The ceiling will not be mudded because there's two junction boxes, and I'm just going to make that panel removable as per code. This side does not have a corner. This is just a little doorway in my house, in my basement. So I'll be mudding those screw holes there again also. I suck at mudding. This is the tiniest little job. I would like to just be able to do stuff like that on my own. I do know you put a little bit of mud first, and then your corner tape, and then more on top of that. I do not have all of the proper tools, like the corner mud tool. I do not have that, but we're just gonna see how it all goes. So I have a bunch of drywall compound that you have to mix up in my house, so I'm gonna use that. I Googled it and it said it needs to be like a thick cake batter or thick mayonnaise or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, way too much butter. Try to keep it in the bucket. So just use your pre-fold. So I do know that using all the different sizes of these cutting knives, it's all about the angle in which you hold it on. So you want to hold it on an angle where you're leaving it thicker on the inside and not so thick on the outside. And I also know you want that on the thin side. Just that actually looks a little too thick, but just enough to hold this on in place. Just gonna lightly pat it in the corner so I know I have it in the correct spot. Wow, so far so good. So because this is not a corner tool, I am having problems with actually keeping it in the corner. I'm accidentally removing it every time I go from one side to the other. Here it is, there's a close-up on it. I don't know if you can see where the touch-ups need, but I'm actually gonna leave that for now and let it dry, and then come back in and add more in like the key areas where it's needed. So I left it until the next day, and as you can see, it's not horrible for the first time ever trying to attempt to mud a corner, but it's not perfect. It definitely does need more. So I tried to salvage the mud that I mixed up, but it did dry out. So I'm gonna have to mix up more before I do any touch-ups. Okay, just putting mud all over my camera, and so let's just keep rolling. Probably should do a light sand in between, but I'm just not going to. Yeah, one of those corner tools would be the best thing. So I'm gonna leave it, it's a bit like chunky and not right in certain spots, but I'm gonna leave it like that so that I have enough, so I'm not continually scraping off what I'm trying to put on, and I have enough there to sand. Okay, so once again, we let it dry. Once again, it's the next day. Lots of sanding to do. I'm gonna do that off camera. I don't want the camera anywhere near that dust. And here's the end result. It's actually pretty good. I'm happy with it. It's smooth, it's level, there's no weird gouges, there's no weird roundnesses. Yeah, now I can move on to painting. I'm not sure if I would do an entire room. That would take a really long time. Thank you so much for watching my video.